Hello everyone and welcome to Sonic Crossworlds with Chaos Counseling. Hold on. Okay, sorry, brand new game, had to kind of make sure that the sound was kind of at a good place. Yeah, so I've officially beat, what's the word I'm looking for? Escape from Ever After. And I'm not 100% sure what I want to commit to streaming next. Because, yes, if I go off my schedule, that I did kind of have, it would now be time for, another Tales game. And even though I utterly adore... Oh, okay, there we go. Even though I utterly adore that... Why are you... Oh, are they multicolored? There we go. Stop giving me a notification. Son of a fucking bitch. What am I... I don't care anymore. I don't feel completely ready... Because I love the Tales series, but I really do need to be in the right mood to play them. And admittedly, just as of right now, I'm not in... I'm not quite in the mood to play one. Whether or not that means I'm going to skip over that and then go to do another fan service game, I haven't actually decided just yet. That's right. There's no like... So I thought, let's do a one-off stream here since this game was requested by a fan. However, I do admit, I don't know how long I'll be streaming this one or how often, or if it'll just be a one-off thing, because I've played this game a little. Not a lot, just a little. And unlike, say, Crash Team Racing Nitro Fueled, this one didn't have, like, and even Sonic Team Racing, I don't remember there being an extensive, like, single-player campaign or anything like that. So, yeah, I don't know how much I'm going to play this, but I figured this will be just a nice transition, and it's a little too early in the morning to really do much on Tomodachi Life to warrant a stream, in my humble opinion, so, yeah, we're just going to kind of stick with this for now. It's so cool to actually see Tangle and Whisper in a game, because I just barely started getting into reading the IDW comics, and I love those two to pieces, so... Why don't we get started? I think I'm just going to stick with Blaze. Stats. No, stats. Here we go. Alright, this was the one I kind of customized already. Right. And yeah, I haven't played it since I got my hands on the DLC. Like I said, I do like this game, to be clear. Make no mistake, there was very much kind of a case of I played it and then I think more and more I've started to realize I wanted right. I've just more and more started to realize I just don't have as much time in my life anymore to really commit to these games that are just sort of specifically, you know, just fun. If there's no like forward momentum from like a story standpoint or whatever. It's kind of like when Kirby Air Riders came out, which did have a story mode, which I actually really liked, by the way. I played through the story mode, but then I stopped, even though I had so much more still to unlock. And I'm a busy guy, you know? Anyway, enough rambling. I will say as of right now, what I'm tempted to do for because I don't want to completely abandon my schedule per se, but I'm also not feeling it like I did now that Dragon Age is done. So I'm either going to just skip the Tales game, go straight to a fan service game, just kind of say, no, we're doing a Tales game, let's stick with it. Or, as of right now, I'm considering maybe playing another game that I've kickstarted. I can't customize these here, right? Another game I've kickstarted, or maybe just doing something else entirely. Like, as of right now, I'm a little tempted to stream, just because I've been seeing a lot of videos on it as of late, so it's on my brain. Streaming the Switch port of the first Pikmin game, which admittedly is my least favorite of all the Pikmin games. I know, heresy, but just I kind of feel like Pikmin 1 and Pikmin 2, since the Switch port, or Pikmin 2 and Pikmin 3, my mistake, have multiple.
Hello. Why don't you get King Dodonpa to host a Grand Prix on your world and invite us all over? That is just an excuse to get closer to stealing the Soul Emeralds. What kind of fool do you take me for?
Good point. So yeah, based on the fact that I do have a little custom... Oh, jeez. What are the controls? I do have a little, you have probably already guessed that I do have, or that at the very least I have played this game a little bit. But yeah, I didn't get very far, and I do not remember the controls very well at all. Uh-oh. Still, one thing that I can definitely say about this game, even though I didn't get into it like a ton, or I only played it a little bit, it's definitely better than Mario Kart World. And that's just kind of sad, you know, because don't get me wrong, I am not like a massive Mario Kart stan or anything like that, but I've usually liked everyone that I've played. And it's not that I hate Mario Kart World, I just think it's disappointing. And because it's like, yeah, the whole open world feature's kind of cool, but it wasn't really enough to keep me interested. At least because it felt so hollow compared to Mario Kart 8 Deluxe, you know? Then again, what's the word I'm looking for? I just really wish that we could get another Crash Team Racing game. Because, again, I never played, like, I was not a Crash fan growing up. In fact, I mildly resented Crash growing up because of some asshole neighbors who basically used Crash as an excuse to dunk, because they were PlayStation guys. No shame, no, I'm not casting any shade on people who grew up with PlayStation. But what was annoying is because they had a PlayStation and we had Nintendo, they were just super insistent on being like, well, every game of ours is better than every game of yours, if you know what I mean. Like, it couldn't just... Oh, shit. It couldn't just simply be, oh, hey, we have this cool game that you should come over and play. It had to be like, hey, we have a PlayStation, which means we have access to, you know, Crash Team Racing, so we're so much better than you because all you have is stupid Mario Kart. And it's like, why can't we just both agree that to the fact that, you know, we both have games that we like, you know? Why do we have to be this colossal? But again, we're kids. And kids do dumb, stupid shit.
So what? This proves nothing.
But yeah, that was part of the but yeah, so just to share that story to emphasize, I don't have any nostalgic connection to... Is this the city from Unleashed? I'm pretty sure it is. I mean, I say that specifically to emphasize I do not have any nostalgic connection to Crash Team Racing. And yeah, I kind of think that Crash Team Racing Nitro Fueled may have been one of my favorite racing games ever, really. And I'm not just saying that because that game had the hot furry chick in it. But I'm also not going to deny that, you know, I did use Tawna as my main. Partially due to, like, when I first started playing Crash Team Racing, there was, like, a bundle that had Tawna and, like, all the other, like, racing girls from, like, I don't actually remember what their deal was. I think they were, like, the ones who, like, would hold, like, the race starting flags or race victory flags in some other games. But yeah, there was a bundle that was for sale on the shop that gave them all, like, their sci-fi gear or something like that, which was cool. So I bought that and, yeah, ended up kind of maining Tawna for a while because, again, I liked that skin. And then because of that, that may or may not have been the reason I went out of my way to get the U2s of Tawna's Crash 4 design. Because, again, I don't know if I can fully say that I'm a furry, but I'm also not going to pretend that I can't, like, I'm not going to act like I can't appreciate a character's design if I do think they're well designed or they're hot or whatever. So again, I'm not a furry, but come on, let's be real. Crystal Fox from Star Fox Adventure, it's like, yeah, it's kind of hard not to find her attractive in at least some ways, you know? So, admittedly, I'm not 100% fond of the gimmick of this game. I don't think it's bad. Like, I really need to emphasize that. I do not think the gimmick of this game is bad. If anything, it is actually pretty fun. My problem with it is because you go to different stages for the middle lap, it does make it a little harder for you to learn the stage on your first playthrough. So it can be hard to be like, okay, I missed a collectible. I need to make sure I can get it next through. Now, obviously, you know, just play the game. Just play the game multiple times. You'll be fine. Hunky-dory. No big deal, you're Gucci. It's just, it is a minor nitpick. And again, if I played this game competitively, online, playing this game all the time, it would be no problem whatsoever. But like I said, just since I've been struggling to find time just to play games I want to for fun, especially with how long it takes me to get through a game, even just casually, and more games keep coming out that I also want to play, even if it's just casually. Adulting sucks. And since I don't play games professionally, mostly because, if I'm being honest, like, I just don't see the appeal. It kind of, in a lot of ways, sucks the fun out of it. Like, I'm not gonna lie, I love playing Pokemon casually, but oh man, this Scarlet playthrough has actually really burned me the fuck out on Pokemon because partially, no, I mean, I'm not saying I resent, because again, I want to make sure that I have an easier time beating the Blueberry Academy Elite Four, because fuck, I nearly wasn't able to beat Kieran on my personal playthrough because I didn't have very good Pokemon. I picked Pokemon I liked and just stuck with my main team of 6 because that's normally what I do in Pokemon. But since they used competitive strats, I nearly got wiped. So it's like, okay, I want to actually make sure that I stand a chance against them in the Edgelord playthrough. But again, just simply, I'm not going to lie, just simply doing all this Eevee stuff and being like, no, I need to make sure I've got good coverage. I need to make sure that I've got the right moves, if you know what I mean. Oh man, I am just so burned out. And again, to be fair, I did kind of... Well, I didn't Eevee train. I mean, granted, Eevee training is a lot easier when you have the bands, but I digress. Words. But yeah, I did kind of do some competitive thinking in Diamond and Pearl by kind of abandoning the list that Abby, well, not completely abandoning it, but partially abandoning the list that Abby drew for me to use, and instead I used, I didn't use the Octillery that she picked for me, and I instead used a, what's it called? A Gastrodon. And then I didn't use the Luxray she wanted me to use. I instead used an Altaria. And don't get me wrong, in many respects, that was the right call because of just how difficult... Jeez, I am really... Okay, there's definitely some subtlety to the racing controls in this game compared to like other racing games that I'm more accustomed to that I just am clearly not getting. Then again, to be fair, that was kind of true with Sonic Team Racing. Like, I got that game. Actually, I remember I consciously chose to get Sonic Team Racing over Crash Team Racing Nitro Fueled, and don't get me wrong, I did have a grandiose old time, but I did end up having more fun with Crash. But there has just always been a little something, admittedly, about the Sonic racing games. I'm like, I don't fully get how they work, at least in terms of like how to constantly be boosting, constantly, yeah. And to be fair, I also didn't get that in Crash Team Racing. Like, I never unlocked Entropy because I couldn't beat the time trials. I just was not good enough to, because you have to basically be non-stop boosting to get that. And damn it. And then also seeing like this, when I played that game online a little bit, I'm like, how are these people maintaining these speeds? It's insane.
Are you just toying with me?
Yes. No. Maybe so. Why do you ask?
Now's my chance.
Sweet.
A race well run.
Oh, wow. Rouge didn't even take second this time around. Not bad. Now, mainly, I don't actually 100% know what getting the red ring, or the red coins, or whatever they're called in this game actually does for me. Other than it's just a collectible to have. I assume it unlocks stuff, but that is just an assumption. The Boom Boo Grand Prix. You're a Grand Prix. Oh yeah, we came to this level in like the middle lap in one of the previous stages.
Come on, Rouge. Get your head in the game.
Yes. Wait, no, this was the first stage we were at. Oh yeah, if I remember correctly, like, don't quote me on this. If I seem to think like the last, like the final Grand Prix race, all 3 laps take place in the 3 stages that we were just in. Again, please don't quote me on that. I didn't actually end up playing this game quite enough to... Okay, I also don't understand... Maybe I need to turn right assist off. Maybe that's why I can't drive off the track to get those off the beaten path stuff. Yeah.
I'm done playing with you. Well struck. Are you just toying with me?
Hey, Muffin. Blaze, Fire. Willing Goat wish she was more Sonic games. Yeah, I agree. However, I can... How do I put this? She, at the very least, I understand there is a good in-universe reason why she's not around. So, at the very least, it also, it's, let's see, as another comparison, it's kind of like Omega Supreme's random appearances in the Transformers series, so that, yes, she doesn't appear very often, and yes, she does definitely appear in, like, most of the spin-off games, so we're not completely dry of her, but it does mean that whenever she actually does show up in one of the game's main stories, it's now always something to look forward to, you know? But yeah, I do wish she was in more games. Also, how are you, Muffin? Because, yeah, it was actually kind of funny. So, like I mentioned, I have been reading the IDW Sonic comics. And it is actually a little funny to me that because she lives in another dimension and all that, she actually ended up missing the entire Metal Virus arc. I'm just not sure what her story is actually in the main timeline. And I'm okay, it's just tired, just having one of those low energies. I feel that. I am going to be so slammed today. Better or worse. I don't know like the full story behind the game she was introduced in, but
Fine, whatever. I wasn't even trying.
Blaze is actually a princess from a parallel reality. What's the word I'm looking for? She comes from the soul dimension, where they have soul emeralds instead of chaos emeralds, meaning that the main Sonic dimension is the what's what I'm looking for? It's called the chaos dimension. I don't know really much about her original game other than in her reality there's a more evil version of Eggman called Eggman Nega. But yeah, beyond that, I don't actually know that much. Okay. Okay. Nice. But yeah, just due to the fact that since Blaze is from a parallel reality, it makes sense why, you know, she only shows up every so often, because I mean, she's got her own troubles to deal with in her home dimension, you know. She's a princess from a different dimension, but I just don't really understand how she works in Sonic 06 logically. To be fair, most of the events in that game were erased, if I'm correct. You are correct. And honestly, a lot of people don't understand why Blaze was paired. Like, don't get me wrong. I love the pairing of Blaze and Silver. They make an adorable couple, in my humble opinion. But I'm also not going to pretend that it makes a ton of sense to me either. Because it's like, okay, if she's from another dimension and Silver's from the future, why are they paired up, if you know what I mean? Like, again, I cannot stress enough that I do adore the pairing of Silver and Blaze. I just don't understand the logic behind it, especially when, like, as a lot of people have pointed out, by pairing her with Silver, it kind of really fucked up what's what I'm looking for? It kind of fucked up Blaze's, it kind of messed up both her reputation and, in a weird way, her usability, for lack of a better word, because by tying her to Silver, they inadvertently tied her to a game that has reputation was so bad it kind of forced the Sonic franchise to basically play damage control for a whole decade. And they just were kind of scared of using her because they were just trying to, I guess they really didn't want to acknowledge Sonic 06. Because I know Sonic 06 is one of the games that they kind of disappeared from Steam, or maybe not Steam. I don't know if it was ever on Steam, but disappeared from online retailers because it used to be available on digital stores. I like Silver and Blaze, but usually in the right world, I feel like. I just hope she's part of the future. I agree. And, you know, given the fact that Mephiles came back for Sonic X Shadow Generations, Infinite came back in the case files, the IDW comics have been doing a lot to really help characters who haven't been seen in a while, such as Vanilla. Don't get me wrong, at where I am currently at in the comic, I am still not sold on the Zeddy at all. In fact, I still really dislike them, but I have heard they do get better, so here's hoping. Then again, that's what IDW... There's a reason why IDW is my favorite comic publishing company, is because since they publish mostly licensed comics, they do a wonderful job of taking franchises that have tons of characters and... No, what am I talking about? And, calling some attention and revitalizing characters that have maybe gone overlooked in the series. Because thanks to IDW, we have the really cute Vector Vanilla ship, which I am very okay with. They brought Vanilla back. They brought Gemerald back. Yeah, I am very, very happy with what IDW done. Let's see. So we've done Blaze. We've done a race as Blaze. Let's do a race as Sage. She's my other. And then we'll do some with like Tangle and Whisper. So I'm just gonna kind of go through Tails. Cool. Also, speaking of them bringing like Mephiles back and whatnot, I do seem to remember one of the writers on the Sonic team said in a tweet they do have plans in the future for characters like Infinite and Mephiles, so hopefully that does mean they also have big plans for Blaze as well. Especially since there is a prevailing fan theory that because Mephiles...
Are you compatible with the vehicle? I have so many questions. I am more than a mere program. I will defeat you in honor of my father and for my own self-respect.
What's what I'm looking for? What was I saying? Oh yeah, there is a fan theory floating around, and it's a fan theory that I think is actually kind of makes a certain amount of sense. A certain amount of sense. It doesn't make total sense, because the events of Sonic 06 were still erased from history. But since Mephiles was able to sort of survive him being erased, emphasis on sort of, he exists in kind of a limbo state and only was able to show up. Again, this is my understanding of what happened in Sonic X Shadow Generations. He was only able to show up because time and space itself was broken. So like a time remnant of him like that was like a remnant of him from like the erased timeline. But people have also pointed out that since Blaze absorbed Iblis into herself, which is the other half of Solaris, that it's entirely possible that if that time remnant of Mephiles was able to get his hands on Blaze, she might technically still have part of Iblis within her. So there's a chance that Solaris could come back. Yeah, I kind of forgot. What does Frenzy actually do? It's not that I wasn't paying attention. It's just mostly because I'm chatting, I'm not taking it in as well as I probably should have. Sorry, let's see. In fact, Discord now gave me the notification about you sending the stream link. Okay, well, that's good. That's good. Hopefully it can continue.
Excellent performance. Moderate output.
Now, one thing I am actually very glad about this game, because, like, so I actually didn't play most of the Sonic racing games when they were new. Mostly just because I was going through a phase where I just wasn't into Sonic anymore because the games had just been so blech. Combined with the fact that I just didn't see the point of a Sonic racing game. I know, Sonic games are basically single-player racing games, and I didn't see the point of a racing game. I don't understand my stupid logic either. But yeah, so, I mean, I actually went down and actually bought all the other Sonic race, you know, Sega and Sonic racing games just to have them. Granted, I don't think my version of Transformed and the one for the original one actually works, but I digress. Because, like, the one for the very first one, I specifically tracked down the Xbox 360 version, because that version had an exclusive character in Banjo-Kazooie. Since Banjo-Kazooie Nuts and Bolts was an Xbox 360 exclusive game, and because that game was about basically kart racing in a sense, it was a bonus crossover thing. But because of that, I had to buy it used, and I don't think the person I bought it from took care of it. So it only occasionally actually works. Eat it, Tails. This guy wanted to win more than the watch. And then the next Transformed, I specifically got it for the Wii U, mostly because I wanted to justify us even still owning our Wii U. I mean, okay, sadly, Twilight Princess HD and Wind Waker HD are still locked to the Wii U, so it'll always be worth owning for that, because don't get me wrong, I could play the original version of Twilight Princess or the HD remaster and be perfectly happy with either. But I'm sorry, the HD remaster of Wind Waker is so much better than the original that it's like, I don't think I could go back to the original. So like when it was announced, like, hey, everyone, the GameCube emulator, we're finally getting a GameCube emulator for the Switch, and it's going to have the HD version of, or it's going to have the original Wind Waker playable. I'm like, I am grateful that the original is still accessible to modern players. Because it's like, yes, remasters are great, and I will always appreciate them, but we should never forget. Why? Okay, it must be like the race assist or whatnot that's keeping me from driving off the track or something. I don't know. I don't know. I still don't fully get the mechanics of this game, sadly. Because, yeah, we should never throw out, make old versions of a game unavailable unless they were, like, so fundamentally broken that it's like they needed to be remade from the ground up just to make them playable, if you know what I mean. But again, even still, putting that aside, it did kind of, okay, yeah, I do need to make sure I turn that off then. Damn it, Tails! Also, hello. Sorry, I can't take my eyes off the road long enough to actually get a good look at your username to greet you properly. So bear with me. Okay. Oh, hold on. Hello. It's Astri? I'm sure I'm saying that wrong. I apologize. But yeah, I am very grateful that they brought the transforming mechanic back from Sonic Transformed, because that was I like, it's a fun concept. I like the being able to go from the car to the boat to the plane on a dime, because that it's a very unique thing. Because sure, like no, not Conquer. Diddy Kong Racing had a mechanic where had like hovercraft, car and plane, but you were stuck to a single vehicle the whole race. So it's just kind of cool to have it as a mechanic that you can just swap between them all. Let's see. I've seen people play this game with the Ninjago characters. Really? I prefer Sonic All-Stars Racing Transform. It's better than Crossworlds because it's a little better. Okay, that's good to know. I haven't played it a ton because, like I said, I specifically bought the Wii U version to, have just another game on our Wii U, because that library, that honestly is one of our smallest libraries of games ever. I think the only, game library that we have that's smaller is our N64 library, and that's just because, well, that's just left over from what we had as kids, where we didn't have jobs, so we couldn't afford that much. And our Vita library, And that's just because there was barely any games on the Vita, sadly. At least barely any games on the Vita we wanted to play. And don't get me wrong, I went out there and bought so much random crap that sounded vaguely interesting to try and make the game feel, or try to make the Vita feel like it was worth owning. Because, like, to be fair, we only bought the Vita because at the time that was the only way to play Persona 4 Golden. I mean, don't get me wrong. Persona 4 Golden is good enough to simply own a Vita for no other reason than that. And thankfully, eventually, we got some of the other 999 game. Like, the last 999 game came out on the Vita. I don't know if it came out on the Vita exclusively, but it might have. We then got Tales of Hearts R was a Vita exclusive and is still locked to the Vita, which disappoints me so much because that's another Tales game I'd love to stream, but again, it's locked to the Vita. I kind of can't. But yeah, but downside is I don't think my version of it was also, you know, I had to buy it heavily used because I bought them when I didn't buy them when they were new. I bought them when Sonic Team Racing came out, and I'm like, I should try the other Sega games, or the other Sonic/Sega racing games. So I had to buy them very, very used. Then again, I also kind of have to love this game, if for no other reason than it's Tangle and Whisper's game debut. And as I mentioned earlier, as someone who's very recently just gotten into the comics, I freaking love Tangle and Whisper. And I do, and again, I'm so happy that Tangle and Whisper showed up in the Chaotix case file. That was awesome. But I would also love to see, hello Bird, them show up in a proper Sonic game, not just a racing spinoff, you know? Actually, a character that I want to see show up more, ironically, is Vanilla. And yeah, because I was unfamiliar with Vanilla because I never played the game that Cream debuted in. Even though I knew of Cream. Words. Did I take the long way around? I think I must have. But yeah, I'd love to see Vanilla come back in a bigger way, just if for no other reason than I want to see her and Vector be like the best, you know, parents, and Vector being like a great stepdad to Cream and Charmy. Like, honestly, Vector and IDW, like, I've gained so much respect for Vector, because, like, I loved the Chaotix when I first encountered them in Sonic Heroes. I know that wasn't their debut, but that was my exposure to them. But between the IDW comics and the Chaotix case files, I have found, damn it, massive, way more respect for them as characters, at least with Vector. I've always liked Espio. I sadly actually think a lot less of Charmy now, because I feel like they made Charmy, like, way stupider. Because I never got the impression that Charmy, I mean, I get that the idea is that he's a naive kid, but he genuinely comes across as stupid in both the Chaotix case files and IDW comics. Again, I get it, he's supposed to be a little kid, but he really comes across as dumb. Sorry, I will read what you have to say in just a second, Nathan, I promise. Booyah. Have you ever heard of Sega Sonic the Hedgehog, the game where Ray and Mighty show up for the first time? I have heard of it simply because I have heard of Ray and Mighty. I don't know if it, like, I don't really know anything about it, though. Like, I mean, honestly, the first time I ever even heard of Ray and Mighty was actually from when they were brought back for Sonic Mania, and then I just did some cursory internet research. Pumpkin Final Grand Prix. Again, it was originally an arcade game. Oh, okay. That explains why I've only kind of heard of it. Yeah, something I really wish that there would be more of were more kart racers that had a single-player story mode, like Crash Team Racing and Diddy Kong Racing. I know there was kind of one in Sonic Team Racing, but I don't remember what it was. And I didn't get very far because progressing was locked behind specific like challenge races, and I just could not master those games with controls and mechanics. Then again, let's be real, I've never been able to master any racing games mechanics as hard as I've tried. So that's why I'm like, I like racing games, but I am fucking terrible at them.
Deploying countermeasures. No, this is humiliating. Good. Woohoo! Onward to victory! Slipstream aligned.
Take that, Shadow. Hold on. I cannot hear Diddy Kong the same due to the real life people with similar names. It's hard to not think of them when I hear the character name. That is fair. Supersonic Racing. I think that's the... Fuck off, Zavok. I still hate you. I know that the comics are trying to make me give a shit about you, but it just is not working. Actually, speaking of the comic, and like, because I know there's still a few more characters that are going to eventually get added to this game. I want to see them add Surge. I know there's a mod that adds Surge, which is cool, but still, an official, like, getting Surge in a game officially would be pretty cool. Surge, Kite, and Starline. Like, ooh, wow. Like, shoot, what was it? Ian Flynn, the author of the IDW books? I think it's Ian Flynn. Sorry, I'm drawing a blank. Like, I know Ian Flynn is involved with Sonic. I just don't remember if he's the writer or something else. Like I said, I'm pretty sure he's the writer. But he knocked it out of the park with Dr. Starline. Like, it is a brand new villain to Sonic, and he doesn't feel like he's overshadowing any pre-existing villains, despite the fact that his entire point is he wants to basically Eggman better than Eggman. And yeah, he is just such a hate sink. I mean, granted, he's not as hateable as Eggman is during the Metal Virus arc. Granted, he's not likable in any way, shape, or form during the Metal Virus arc, but still. Uh-oh. Uh-oh. Shit.
Targeting fire. Slipstream aligned.
Woo! I am the Iron Man! Begone, thought. Whoo! Literally a that was a photo finish.
Formed perfectly.
Oh, excuse me. You know, and speaking of other characters that would be interesting to come back, it would be kind of, again, I have no nostalgic connection to like the Freedom Fighters. I didn't like, I know I watched the show that they debuted in, but I was so young, I do not remember them like at all. Then I did not read any of the Archie comics, which I've heard there's some good stuff in the Archie comics, but given just how much Ken Penders had control over those, I don't outright view that as a completely terrible thing. Words. Can, okay.
Yes.
Sorry. But it would be kind of cool if we could get, like, Sally Acorn back in some way. Just because I know she unfortunately has an unfortunate following online, but she's a character I would love to see come back. And again, I have no connection with her, so. But it also got me thinking, because I was thinking of, because I know Ken Penders doesn't own her, because she debuted in the show, not in one of the Archie comics he wrote. You know, we're going to play Vector, since I was just talking about how I've got a newfound appreciation for him. You know what? I'm going to stick with my custom ride. Hey, Knuckles. What the? Sure. But it also got me thinking about, I actually got a question for everyone in the chat. Who has heard of Sonic Underground? Yeah, this is an honest question. I don't Google it. Don't Google it. I just, like, I mean, you can Google it later, but for right now, don't Google it. Who here has heard of Sonic Underground?
So you fancy yourself a champion of justice? How hilariously pathetic.
That voice does not match your design.
Once this is over, we'll see who's pathetic.
Such as, I'm pretty sure Vector could take you in a one-on-one fight, Zavok. I have no idea what I hit that slowed me down, but fuck it. I do like the rival system in this game because, you know, arguably in every other racing game, there's like one computer player who's meant to play the best to be the one that you mainly have to compete against. So I like that they just actually, for lack of a better word, just made it the damn thing official.
Foolish and predictable.
Let's see. But yeah. So for those who don't know, Sonic Underground was actually the third. So there was actually 3 Sonic TV shows that were produced in America, I think by Deke Productions, and distributed in America. And Sonic Underground was just the least well-known of the 3. It also, like the others, it was canceled abruptly before it could finish its story, albeit one of the Sonic the Hedgehog shows was more just about being trippy as fuck, less about having a serialized narrative, but I digress. Sonic Underground took visually, and I feel like it definitely took the most ideas from Sonic Sat AM in terms of like its setting and style, because both took place on the fictional planet of Mobius, which was the planet that was created for the Sat AM. Because like it's important to remember when Sonic Sat AM and the Archie comics were being made, they were being made in America, licensed by Sega, but independent of any like direct involvement from Sega themselves. So they were kind of given carte blanche to do whatever they wanted with very few restrictions. Like Ken Pender's the douchebag. He actually stated, like in an interview, like the only requirement the only like stipulation he was given when it came to writing the Sonic comics was he was told Sonic is cool. So as long as he made sure that Sonic was cool, he kind of could do whatever he wanted with the character and tell whatever stories he wanted, etc., 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 etc. But yeah, so Sonic Underground very much took inspiration visually and narratively from the Sat AM show. Because, anyway, but Sonic Underground was weird because the plot revolved around Sonic being part of an underground resistance / band with his 2 siblings, that they were triplets, which was very, very unique to actually give Sonic siblings in a series. And funny, all 3 siblings were voiced by the same voice actor, since Jaleel White was the official voice of Sonic in the 90s. Like, so much so that when Sonic Generations was being made, they actually considered bringing Jaleel White back to voice classic Sonic. But they ultimately decided just to make classic Sonic mute, since Sonic never spoke in the old games. But yeah, it was Sonic with his siblings Sonia and Manic. So Sonic, Sonia, and Manic. Yeah, not Sonia, Sonia. Yes, it's spelled Sonia, but it's meant to... the names are all meant to sound similar. So it's Sonic, Sonia, and Manic. And like Sonic, they all had like necklaces that could transform into their instruments. And then their instruments could, transform or could, be altered. Well, okay. Sonic's guitar just could, shoot lasers out of its neck, and like Sonia, or Sonia, who was on the guitar or on the keyboard, why did I say guitar? Her guitar could, or why do I keep saying guitar? Her keyboard could like convert into a gun, which was actually wonderfully extra. I loved it. And then Manic played the drums, and his drums could create earthquakes, and occasionally could shoot lasers depending on the episode. It's a licensed TV show from the 90s. Animation, there was not a ton of consistency in between them. I mean, just look at some of the episodes in the Transformers series from back in the 80s. Dinosaurs. Oh, there. I have been flattened.
Too bad.
Okay. I actually appreciate, because I actually couldn't tell what Omochao did for me that first time, because there was just so much visual chaos on screen. I didn't really have a chance to like take in what Omochao was doing, but I kind of like that. That's a nice little gimmick that Omochao can do. Also, can we stop to appreciate just how much better Omochao's voice is in this game than it was in the original? Still, I think like the worst Omochao's voice has ever been was in Sonic Heroes. I know Omochao I think only turns up in the tutorial, but you know, his voice is really annoying there.
That's why you leave it to the pros.
You know, it's funny when I'm pretty sure this is still the same voice actor of Vector from Shadow 05. But I remember when I first heard Vector's new voice, I couldn't stand it. I thought his Sonic Heroes voice was way better. But again, if I don't know, the Sonic voice actors have shuffled over the last 2 decades quite a bit. But if it is the same one from Shadow, he really has grown into the character. If it is a different voice actor, then quite frankly, this is just a better voice actor. Maybe I shouldn't say the voice actor is better. It's just... It works better. Let's say that. I don't want to put down hardworking voice actors, especially... Bullshit. And just especially with all the AI slop that we're dealing with now, and them actually trying to use AI to replicate voices, so... I don't want to take a stance against any hardworking, talented people out there, if you know what I mean.
Right on the trail.
Anything is possible if you just believe. You gotta believe. Fuck you. I like the... Piss off, Zavok.
It's over.
The game is over. Ah, shit. Well, so far I am not off to a great start. Oh, that wasn't a red ring. That was just a post.
It's over. Knock him out.
Gotcha.
Gimme, gimme, gimme. Gimme, gimme, gimme.
Thou shalt not take me. There we go. All right. That's 3 first place victories in the bag. That is the least amount of the red rings I was able to get, though. That is okay. Oh, hey, Not Suspicious, did you finish the other game? No, not at all. I still have every intention. Or do you mean Escape from Ever After? Because because yes, I did beat Escape from Ever After last week. If you mean Tomodachi Life, no, I'm going to be playing that game on and off for the foreseeable future because I'm enjoying that one. But yeah. I did say this earlier in the stream, but because you weren't here, I have somewhere I have to be this morning because I agreed to do a acting job for a friend. And I have to be there kind of right in the middle of when I would normally stop streaming. So because that means I'm going to have to do a shorter stream today to, make that appointment. I decided I didn't really want to start a new game to start streaming, and it was too early in the morning where I'm, local time to really do much of anything on Tomodachi Life. So I thought, screw it. Let's just do some Sonic racing. That'd be fun. I mean, who knows? I might still play this game again in the future, but I don't know how much I'm really going to get out of doing Sonic Crossworlds. Yeah. And then, of course, there's because I debated on doing an extra Pokemon stream because I really want to. Like I've said, I'm getting kind of burned out of Pokemon because I shouldn't have done Pokemon Scarlet so soon after doing Pokemon Sword. But let's be real, I was excited. They announced Pokemon Wind and Waves, combined with the fact that there was supposed to be a much bigger gap in between the Pokemon games, but Fallout New Vegas kept breaking, so I couldn't stream it more than once. But yeah, I do want to beat Pokemon Scarlet and then just take a break, get a refresher, and then can do Pokemon later. But yeah, I oversaturated myself with Pokemon, which I didn't think I could do because I love playing Pokemon. But well, I guess there is no such thing as too. I can't even think of the proper thing I'm trying to say, but yeah. I adore Pokemon. I will absolutely play Pokemon again in the future, but I am going to take a pretty long break of Pokemon after I'm finally done with Scarlet. Because, yeah, I'm thinking, I have kind of decided I am going to choose the next Edgelord game rather than do a poll like I've been doing. What device? Slime Rancher. It's a wonderful experience. Different than so I usually do. Be refreshing. Yeah, that is one that has been on my radar and I have been thinking about. But I do appreciate the recommendation. But yeah, I decided I'm just going to pick the next Edgelord game rather than having a poll. Partially due to the fact that it's like, okay, I want to play one of the games that has been on my Edgelord polls on and off that just never win. That I really just want to play as Edgelord, if you know what I mean. And then I might also still pick the next Edgelord game after that. Point is, I am going to go back to letting you guys vote on edgelord games, but at least until I feel a little less burned out of edgelord, I'm like, I want to make sure I pick games that I know I'm going to really adore sinking my teeth into, if that makes sense. So that's kind of what I had to do after the Baldur's Gate 3 fiasco. Even though I do love Baldur's Gate 3, it's like, you know what? We're playing Pokemon next. I need to... Wow. Okay, so they said have Zavok as your rival because the rival skill will be increased from normal, but Zavok arguably had the single worst performance out of any of the rivals I've had on stream today. So,
How humiliating.
I mean, you are a horribly written character, Zavok. You should be used to it at this point. Like, literally, you were created to be a Bowser knockoff. I don't know what you were expecting.
Yahoo! Dance party.
Fuck yeah, Vector. Fuck yeah. Finally. Silver plate. Oh. Cool. Let's see. Oh, here we go. Okay, that's kind of nice. Oh, that's also kind of nice. I don't have space for that one. Okay. Sand. Okay, let's go. Let's go with my boy Knuckles. Actually, can I change my rival?
Agreed.
Because I want... Actually, that's a lie. I don't... No, yeah, that's a lie. Never mind. Sorry, I was getting ahead of myself. When I'm Espio, I have... When I do finally play as Espio, I do have a very specific rival I want to go up against. But Knuckles, not so much. I don't need it. Well, then... Oh, shoot. I should have saved Rouge for Knuckles. That would have been cute to see them flirt. Round 1 Blizzard Voulez.
As one guardian to another, do you ever worry about participating in events like this?
I take it in stride and do my best each time. Clear your head, princess.
Yeah, I gotta admit, I've been so back and forth on Knuckles' voice over the last 20 years. I think it's probably because despite the audio mixing issues in the Sonic Adventure games, I really feel like, to me at the very least, Knuckles' voice in those games was perfect. Like, that just really fit how I imagined Knuckles would sound. So just every voice actor that came after just doesn't sound right to me. Again, I love you, Dan Green. You did a great job as Knuckles, but yeah, it just wasn't really. Dan Green just never, his version of Knuckles just never really worked for me. Knuckles' current voice actor is good, but I still just think his voice from Sonic Adventure 1 and 2 are still my favorite voice Knuckles has ever had. Then again, I also admit the problem with I have with Dan Green voicing any character other than Yugi is I am just so familiar with his Yu-Gi-Oh voices because of how religiously me and my siblings watched Yu-Gi-Oh growing up, that it is a little difficult for me to be able to take any character he voices or be able to look at them as a character and not just, hey, Dan Green. It's admittedly kind of a similar problem I have with Johnny Young Bosch. Well, yes, I do have a hard time of accepting Johnny Young Bosch is, I mean, I don't have a character as, like, definitively, like, tied to him like I do with Dan Green, other than the fact that, you know, he was the Black Ranger, albeit he does sound very different as a voice actor than he did as Adam in Power Rangers, but I digress. It's just that I can very easily place Johnny Young Bosch's voice. And same thing with Laura Bailey. It's like, I love all of them now, and I'd say Johnny Young Bosch and Laura Bailey are two of my favorite voice actors. Up there with Matt Mercer and... anyway. But, yeah, it is a little difficult when I hear both Laura... Like, I, for a very long time, hated Laura Bailey as a voice actor. Not because I thought she did a bad job. No, if anything, the reason why I hated her as a voice actor is because she did too good of a job at one point. Because Laura Bailey does kind of have a atypical voice she uses for, like, young teenage girls, in a sense. And the first time and if you've ever played Persona 4, it's her Rise voice. Yeah, it's a voice she uses when in... what's it called? Star Ocean: The Last Hope is the one female character. It's the voice she uses. It's, if you know it, you know it. Well, the first time I ever actually heard that voice in anything was in Tales of Symphonia 2, which is one of my least favorite games of all time, because it is a sequel to my favorite game of all time, and it does some pretty severe both character and world assassination. Shoot, I missed all the boosts. So yeah, and Laura Bailey's character Marta is one of the most annoying character archetypes, for me at least. She's basically the annoying fangirl who basically just like, oh, if it's for love, love is great, and anything for love, and...
You won the race, but not the series.
There is specifically a scene between Marta and the main character Emil, where basically, because Emil supposedly saved her life at one point, I say supposedly because Emil doesn't even, of course it's Radical Highway, because Emil doesn't actually even remember saving her. In fact, he doesn't even remember meeting her prior to when the game properly kicks off. And he basically has to scream at her to stop, because like she built this idealized version of Emil in her head based on a single 2-second encounter. Because it's like, yes, someone who looked like Emil did save her life, allegedly. Again, allegedly. Again, I don't know why I'm trying to not spoil the plot of this game, because the game's like is nearly 20 years old or more, and it's a game that I hate. so it's not like I'm going to stream it, and it's not like I would recommend any of you actually go out of your way to play it, because the game sucks. But, I don't know. The twist, I don't know, it's like, the reveal about why Emil has memory loss is actually so good that I'm like, the game is still crap, but the story and plot twists are actually have some really good ideas. Honestly, the only reason why the story is bad, in my opinion, is because it is a sequel to another game, and it does kind of, it retcons a lot of the world lore for seemingly no real good reason than just, hey, we had a completely different set of ideas for the sequel. We're going to tell those ideas no matter what, no matter how much they kind of step on or override or whatever what came before. Because, like, what I mean specifically for, I don't mind spoil, because this is something revealed pretty early on. In the first game, you have to go to all the temples of all the different summon spirits, of all the different elements. Well, in the second game, it's revealed, oh, well, the summon spirit temples were actually built over the temples of these other elemental creatures that are older than they are, called the Centurions. And I'm like, okay, thank you for letting me know that the really epic, really cool, really important, powerful entities from the first game were just, oh yeah, they were the ones that weren't as cool. They were the equivalent of, we have the summon spirits at home, honey. Then combined with the fact that it's like, oh, you know, the spirit of the giant tree. By the way, I don't mind spoiling Tales Symphonia as much because we've already streamed it. I still recommend playing that game for yourself. Well, no, I can't recommend Tales Symphonia just because the HD remake was not very good. It was choppy and buggy, and that's the only widely available version of the game. So I sadly cannot recommend my favorite game of all time to new players. But yeah, it's like the spirit of the giant tree, you know, a very important character from the end game of Tales of Symphonia. It's like, oh yeah, that one's not as cool, and so it's you know, the less cool version of this, oh shit, of this other character that was introduced for the first time in this shitty sequel. Yeah, I'm in trouble. But yeah, no, just in general, Tales of Symphonia 2 just embodies, in my humble opinion, really, really lazy. Just it just soaks itself in lazy writing tropes. Okay, this is only the second race. I'm pretty sure we can. Yeah, I don't care. You know what? I don't care. We're gonna restart. I've got the tickets. I might as well. Because if it was just second place that I got, I'd be a little more okay. But being now that many points behind, I'm like, that's gonna leave me less room for mistakes in the final round. Okay, good. I do get to keep the red rings, so I need to be a lot less worried about those. Says who?
You've earned the right.
Oh, yeah. The timing is absolute. I'm having like absolutely terrible timing with like everything. Drift.
Farewell.
I'm not risking that shortcut again. There we go. That's more like it.
As I expected.
I'm a lot more comfortable with proceeding with that result. Well, I'm already A-okay with this racetrack existing. Also, speaking of Chow Park, bring back the Chow Garden, Sega. Heck, you could do a game that's basically just the Chow Garden. I mean, okay, yes, there need to be something to do to, like, earn the ways to raise the Chow or whatever, but you could still make the game that is 100% all about the Chow Gardens and find some way to, you know, we'd still like it.
This won't do. You've earned the right.
Oh, what was that? Oh, dear. The Golden Blaze. Ah, just barely missed that. Thingy in the doodle. Whee! I'm flying!
This can't be how it ends.
As I expected.
Alright, one more. One day more. Another day, another destiny. In this never-ending road to Calvary. These men who seem to know my crime will surely come. Well, let's see, I voice Edgelord, so they're going to keep coming an infinite number of times. You're a grand prick. Okay, actually kind of getting a better look at this track and with the drill. I'm thinking this might be the place from Sonic 06. Specifically, the base infiltration, like the where we had to infiltrate Eggman's base. I could be totally wrong about that, but that is just my assumption.
Let's go.
Warp speed, number 1.
This can't be how it ends.
Treasure expert. No way.
Man, this is radical.
Treasure expert. Final lap.
Let's race again sometime.
Agreed. First place, Samarani.
Can't beat the best.
Woo! Yeah, I want to change my character. This is going to be the last one that I have time for today. So, let's take Tangle and Whisper out for... Let's take one of them out for a spin, and it's going to be Tangle. I am ready. I know, sadly... Hey, Val. That's good to hear. I'm glad you're feeling better. But how you doing? And yeah, I know that sadly, Tangle and Whisper don't have any voices in, voiceover in the game, which is a shame because they've got voice actors now. Could you get them in a recording booth and record some dialogue? Just because I feel Tangle and Whisper are characters I don't want to fall into obscurity, mostly because they are very queer-coded. Then again, I guess having one of the mute characters go up against a mute rival's probably... Well, okay, again, mute, they are... Hold on. Sorry about last night. I had done a 5 a.m. shift working off 3 hours sleep, and it was a bad overstimulation day. I 100% understand where you're coming from, Val. Do not feel bad at all. I'm glad you were able to get some rest. Yeah, no. Don't feel bad at all. Yeah. We streamed for maybe like another 45 minutes after you left, and then I switched over to do a brief Pokemon Scarlet stream last night because I needed to make progress in Pokemon Scarlet because I love Pokemon to pieces. I cannot stress that enough, but this is officially the longest Pokemon stream I've done. And I am just getting a little burned out by it. And again, I know that's weird because like I spent way more time in Baldur's Gate 3, but at the same time, that game kind of is meant to be kind of long, so I kind of was in that one for the long haul. Pokemon is supposed to be one of the short games I play. I'm off today and tomorrow. Gonna rest that. Good. Yeah, this is gonna actually be my last Grand Prix for the day. Got to cut my stream short because I'm doing a acting gig for a friend. I am not an actor, so this is gonna be interesting. To kind of, it's what's what I'm looking for. It's part of a food bank charity thing. But yeah, after this race, I gotta stop and I gotta go get in my costume, get my makeup squared away, and just make sure I have everything before I head out for the day. Because after I'm done with that, I've gotta go to an event that some friends of mine are acting in. It's a live-action LARP. It's kind of similar to the park that Everfell is based off of, but it's not quite the same thing. Yeah, it's really cool to see Tangle in animation. Well, with movement, because Tangle has got some of the most creative art in the comics, given just how like her tail can kind of stretch out and be used as an extra limb or whatever. And again, it's really cool for her to actually appear in a game. So it's like, yes, admittedly, Tangle was at the very least name dropped in Sonic Frontiers. But again, to actually have her in an actual game that's actually here in the actual real world is still, ooh, that hurt. It's still really cool, and I do want to acknowledge that. I actually want to acknowledge that. Because again, I think, don't quote me on this, because again, I'm not familiar with Archie comics, but especially since it's very much implied that Tangle and Whisper are in a relationship together. Again, it has to be implied because thanks to Ken Penders, IDW is not allowed to have like explicit or overtly obvious romance. Fuck you, Ken Penders. I do think it's possible that Tangle and Whispered might be the first gay characters in Sonic. Again, I could be wrong about that because I don't know the Archie comics very well, other than they have a reputation of basically being a soap opera. So it's possible there were gay characters in the Archie comics, but I don't know that for sure. Especially since I know there's a lot of good in the Archie comics, but I kind of can't think of Archie comics without thinking of Ken Penders, and it just kind of leaves a pretty bad taste in my mouth. But yeah, Val, so you're off today and tomorrow. What are your... Oh, shit. Okay, I gotta jump into that. Got it. What are your plans for the day? Besides just rest. I've never heard of Tangle, but I am not really into Sonic comics or fan of it all. I like Sonic, but not as much when I was a kid. I mean, don't get me wrong. I have a very unique... Like, I've been a fan of Sonic as long as I can remember, but my love of the franchise is odd, to say the very least, because I technically did play some of his games at a friend's house, because I didn't have any... I have never owned a Sega console. I never owned any of the old Sega consoles, but I had a friend who owned a Genesis. And I would go over and we'd play Sonic 3 together on his Genesis, because Sonic 3 was kind of multiplayer. I say kind of because in the spirit of the law, it is a multiplayer game, but it's one of those that player 2 is just a glorified companion character. Anyway, but my real introduction to Sonic as a franchise came from, let's see, I started a playthrough with Zazie as an actual making notes. All right, story about her. Nice. I have, my real introduction to Sonic was the TV shows from the 90s. The only one I remember actually watching was the one that was trippy as fuck. I think that one was called The Adventures of Sonic the Hedgehog. But I know that I did see Sonic Sat AM. I just don't really remember in what capacity. Because, again, the reason I know that we watched that is because my older brother has memories of us watching it. I personally don't. But kind of getting back to to kind of more make my point, the point I'm getting at is I know for a fact that, like, I was introduced to Sonic through the TV shows, not the games. So from the get-go, my interest in Sonic stemmed from the characters, not the gameplay. So ironically, when I did actually end up playing the games for the first time, I didn't actually like them very much. But because I was still a fan of Sonic thanks to the shows when Sonic Adventure 2 Battle came out on the GameCube, which was the very first Sonic game to be released on a console that I owned. I snatched it up pretty quickly, and it ended up being like one of my absolute favorite games when I was a child. I have a hard time saying of all time because it has problems. It is still my favorite Sonic game, but whatever. And then after that, I played Sonic, XDE, which meh. Then played Sonic Heroes, which I liked, but it's also meh. And then I didn't own another Sonic game after Sonic Heroes until Sonic Forces in 2017. So that's a 13-year gap in between games. Yeah, I tried Sonic Unleashed. Yeah, I tried the storybook games, but I never played Genesis. I never played... So yeah, there was a gap. But also during that time, there was the Sonic X anime. There was Sonic Boom, the Sonic Boom TV show. So very much my love of Sonic stems from the characters. Because full disclosure, I really hate the way modern Sonic and classic Sonic play. The way Sonic controls in Sonic Adventure is one of the only Sonic things I actually like, if I'm being honest. It's because he feels fast, but he's slow enough that I feel I'm still in control. Because, like, with the boost games, I feel like I'm going so fast, I don't have any fucking clue what I'm doing. So, yeah. The reason why I absolutely loved the podcast, which I highly recommend, like, even if you're not a fan of Sonic, it's still a pretty fun listen, albeit I will admit you're going to be a little confused as to who all the characters are. I'll concede that point. It's still a fun listen, though. Mostly just because Vector's got so much charm. Tangle and Whisper appear. That's actually the first time Tangle and Whisper ever had voice actors, so that was pretty awesome. And the voice actors are perfect. Gemerald and, Vanilla come back. I mean, they were already in the comics. I don't like playing Sonic games at all. My reflexes don't handle the speed well, but I have to put over 100 hours into Chow Guard the game. But I have... No, 100%. That's the reason why I absolutely love Sonic Adventure 2. Is because it's like, I don't like playing the game itself, but I love the Chow Garden aspect. So I'm 100% with you there, Val. Like, I wish they'd bring the Chow Gardens back. But yeah, Tangle and Whisper, they were two completely original characters made up for the IDW run of Sonic. And IDW is still printing the Sonic comics to this day, and they're really damn good. So anyway, for those who don't know, IDW got the rights after Sega was just kind of done with Archie Comics after a lot of shit that Archie Comics subjected Sega to, thanks to Ken Penders. I hate that asshole. So yeah, so the Archie comics were their own separate continuity. They were based on the 90s TV shows, but they weren't in the same continuity as the 90s TV shows. Well, Sega this time around, mostly because they didn't want to allow the freedom that Ken Penders abused to kind of ruin everything to happen again. They wanted to kind of make the Sonic universe feel more unified. The IDW comics were meant to be a direct sequel to Sonic Forces. So yeah, when IDW kicked off, it started with, it picked up just days or weeks right after the end of Sonic Forces. And in that, Sonic was just kind of going around trying to figure out, because Eggman had gone missing up to that point, but he was trying to figure out, like, he was just helping people in need here and there. But then he was also trying to figure out where Eggman was, and he just was helping people along the way. And while he was doing that, he encountered Tangle, who was just a friendly, outgoing, lemur who liked to help people in her local community. And then he met Whisper, who had one of the most tragic backstories out of any Sonic character. And, well, thanks to Sonic, Tangle and Whisper just became friends. And, well, Whisper has helped Tangle, become a more responsible individual. And Tangle has just helped Whisper get over the trauma of her team being betrayed by one of their own members and all getting murdered by Eggman. Their relationship's adorable, to say the very least. And they've been probably some of the most popular breakout new characters from the IDW comics, so it is great to see them get some representation in the wider representation and recognition. I don't remember the game, but there was a GBA Sonic game with a Chow raising feature, and I had so much fun with that. Yeah, that was one of the. I think all the Sonic Advance games had Chow Garden features. Don't quote me on that, but yeah, I know which one you're talking about. Or I should say I know which ones you're talking about. But yeah. Like, another reason why... What's the word I'm looking for? The IDW comics plus Tangle and Whisper have been so good and have, like, gelled so well is because the writer of the comics, which I am pretty sure is Ian Flynn, I know I said I wasn't sure if I remembered if Ian Flynn was the author or someone else, but as I've sat on it, I'm pretty sure it's Ian Flynn, who's in charge of writing the comics, also has been writing the games, too, in order to allow more synergy between them, which I can appreciate quite a bit. But yeah. Point is, I love Tangle and Whisper. I love Jewel, who's another IDW original character. I love Mimic and Starline, who are IDW original villains. They are great. They are complete assholes, and they're great. I don't really give a shit about Rough and Tumble. They're also IDW original villains, but they're just supposed to be generic thugs, so they're not supposed to be all that interesting, especially compared to, like, Dr. Starline and Mimic. Again, I'm hoping that we'll get a more proper return of Chow and Chow Gardens, especially since they've been acknowledging that the Chows exist a lot more. You could make an argument that Sonic Frontiers did kind of tie a little into the Chow, since the aliens in those games very much resemble Chaos, who is directly tied into the Chow. They went out of their way in Sonic X Shadow Generations to acknowledge the existence of... Well, what they did is that they went through all the pre-existing... They went to in the opening cutscene of the Sonic Generations part of the game. There were no Chow in the original cutscene, but they went out of their way to add Chow to it in the new... just in Sonic X Shadow Generations, and I think there was some hidden Chow in the Shadow Generations part of the game, so maybe we'll get a proper return of the Chow Garden and Chow Raisin features. I would go crazy for that. So anytime I hear Final Lap, I just immediately play in my head the Final Lap audio from Diddy Kong Racing, just because I liked the announcer voice from that game. I liked his cadence, I liked his tone, I really liked that race announcer. Bad boss monster. Hey, pissant, get back here. Been trying to watch Sonic X again because my brain's trying to make Sonic RP game, but I don't know enough about the lore to learn. That helps, thanks. Yeah, Sonic X, to be fair, it's like the one TV show of Sonic that was made that actually ties into the games a little bit. But I personally don't much care for it simply because I do not like the kid, Chris. Because he takes away from the other characters, you know?
Congratulations!
Fuck yeah. Sweet. You're a grand prick.
Excellent choice.
Yeah, so... Yeah. So did I unlock that other cup by chance? Or English dub completely cut out the trauma he has about his parents liking him and how badly it affects his behavior. And that's why he wants to Sonic so much. Yeah, I agree. Yeah, that's... Okay, cool. We did get the...
I expect
Okay.
great things from you.
Okay. Okay. Sorry, I do need to be done, but I just do kind of want to take a look at the
Ready.
Sorry, Cream, we're not actually gonna race. Cross Island, Star Islands, White Space, cool. Sonic X Shadow Generations, I think that's Lost World. I don't know if about Lost World, and then that is definitely Frontiers. I'm here reaching for on these new frontiers. In my hands I hold the ones I love. Anyway, I want to make my own unique story and all that in Sonic lore. World, I won't use the established characters much. No, that's smart. That's smart. You know, it's really cool to see Knights again, not gonna lie. You know, this was the game that made me realize that Sega now owns Atlas. Hatsune Miku. I have no idea who you are. It's also really cool that Proto Man, because I've always had a soft spot for Mega Man, even if I don't like the game. Well, even though I only like a few games. Multiple songs in my playlist from Sonic Frontiers. The rock songs are so insane. I love them. I agree. Anyway, like I said, I have to end my stream here. I know it's a lot earlier than I normally would go, but I gotta go get my makeup and costume sorted. Be on my way. So I don't think I'm gonna stream this again next Saturday. I might not. I haven't decided. I know I will stream this game again, but I just don't think there's enough content here to really make this my normal stream, if that makes sense. I'm still deciding on what game I want to stream now that I'm done with Escape from Ever After, because I'm just not feeling like streaming a Tales game right now. I love the series, but I think I burned myself out a little bit with how many I played in my schedule, and I need a break from them. So next week I will either be streaming Sonic Lost Worlds, a game that I've backed on Kickstarter, Stellar Blade, which is a fan service game that I do really want to play, or the first Pikmin game. I mean, I have tried to stream horror games, both I tried White Day, A Prison Called School, and Alien Isolation, and I didn't get very far. I mean, we did Five Nights at Freddy's, but I'm a little more okay. I can actually handle the first 2 Five Nights at Freddy's because I'm not moving. Like, simply having to turn my back on the monsters and run really freaks me the fuck out. I guess what I'm saying is I'm not completely opposed to the idea. But yeah, so I'll be streaming one of 4 things next week. But yeah, haven't decided what. I'll be streaming Pokemon Scarlet tomorrow morning as Edgelord. I'm hoping we can beat the Blueberry Academy and hopefully maybe beat the DLC. Its main story tomorrow and catch the turtle whose name I forget. And then maybe after that, there'll be only one more Pokemon stream where we do the post-game thing where the old characters meet the new characters, and then we can move on from Pokemon. Because, like I said, I'm really burned out from Pokemon. Yeah, I think yeah. I did just too much Pokemon. I did too much Pokemon back to back, and I need a break from it. Anyway, like I said, I really do need to go because I need to, like I said, get my makeup done and get in costume and then be on my way. Pack up my pack, and if I stay, I will not come back. So yeah, I'm not sure when. Oh, yeah, and yeah, if you're in the Discord, Val, so you can just send me a horror game suggestion if you have one in mind. But anyway, I'm not sure when, but I'll see you then. Bye-bye.